Yo. So this might be a little bit disappointing to a lot of people out there that like to see me go through things or like to see my technical processes. But I woke up super late as I've been doing for the past 3 days. I can't lie, like my habits and the things that I do every day, they've been off balance for real. I'm not gonna hold you. Like some of the stuff that I was saying in that video when I was saying what was it mindset, like I haven't really been true to a lot of that stuff. I'm just gonna say that, and I just gotta be real with you. That's also with dealing with a bunch of stuff at work and at home and stuff. So I'm just saying all of that to say I want to get good on my camera. Why is this more centered than I don't know. I just want to say all of that to say I wanted to do a video. I wanted to do a video like this for a while. So here we go. So I'm just gonna get right into it. I always tell people, and I'm gonna start my HackTheBox journey right here off screen because it's active. But I've always tell people that stuff like it's the hours that you put in. Nobody really wants to hear that because that's not like super step-based technical advice that you want to hear. But that's going to be like my number one. Put the hours in and actually overflow the cup. You know, a lot of people want to, put exactly the right amount of hours in, overflow the cup for reals. I would definitely 100% tell you that. And that's going to lead me into my next one, becoming an aficionado for the whole field, and understanding that treating any certification, treating any part of this life like a job is going to be tough for you. Not to say that you're not going to pass. It's going to be tough. You can't treat it like a job. It's got to be like, you know how gamers just game, period? Like no questions asked. They're going to find a way to game. You got to find a way to ethically hack every single day. And it's got to be your identity. And when you can make that switch, that's not going to guarantee that you're going to pass like the next time, but that's going to put you in the best position based on your situation. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wait until people come into the chat, and then we could start like answering actual questions. But I always like you've already heard me say those two things. Like put in mad time, like crazy time. What the hell? Now you see like how I stream every day. Part of the reason why I stream every day is because I want to give you a blueprint. I want to give you a blueprint on the actual obsession that you need for the OSCP. I get in here, good day, bad day, kid in the hospital, crazy stuff going on at work, like hit me back to back with different projects and having like barely any time to prepare for it. Like all that stuff in here still. And yeah, if I can do it, like if I can get in here at least an hour and a half every single morning, regardless of what else is going on that day, like hard, crazy stuff, you can do it, and you can become an aficionado as well. And so through my life, through how you see me grind, I want you to internalize it and do the same. First thing that I'm going to do is Meta 2. I'm not going to walk through how I'm doing the box because I really like my my HackTheBox account. But that is the first one that I'm doing off screen. Let's see if I have a PSF open VPN already. Try hack me. No, I don't. So sudo HTBZ. And again, like, so it's daylight savings time happened. So we went back or whatever. And then so this would really be like 7:30, but it's 6:30. Man, it's crazy. And then I still overslept. So I overslept by 2 hours really. But I've been drinking a little potion or whatever to kind of like get myself in the mood for this, and I need to stop. Because one thing that I'm seeing is if something isn't turn my notifications on. All right, so we got 3 viewers in here. But yeah, those 3 things are 2 things that I said probably most important to my. I tell people all the time, like, I don't think I'm smarter than a lot of people that took it. Like I feel like I'm decent, but I'm not smarter than a lot of people that took the OSCP. Most of the people that took it are they know the material, but it's tough to, if you don't have experience like staying up 24 plus hours on a project. If you just rush into the OSCP, you're gonna struggle. So that's probably my next point, is go ahead and get you some practice with staying up that amount of time. I would actually try to stay up a little bit longer, because what you want to do is when you train yourself for a specific thing, you want to, if you train harder, then you can fall to a good level. Does that make sense? So if you train, like, let's just say you give yourself 5 HackTheBox machines that you want to do, but no, let's do more, like 6 or 7 HackTheBox machines you want to do. And you tell yourself, instead of 24 hours, you're going to do it over 36 hours. Obviously, now you need a little bit of time. But yes, 6 boxes over 36 hours. Now you're training yourself for 36 hours, so 24 shouldn't be as bad. Now, everybody's going to say, well, where's your sleep and stuff like that? And sleep is good for you and all of that. And that's true. I didn't make the exam. The exam is 24 hours, bro. You got to deal with it. I think, it's not going to kill you. You gotta do what you gotta do. Because like I was saying on the last live stream, nobody's going to care. Nobody is going to care. So I'm doing some research on one of these boxes on meta.htb. One of my friends from work, my colleagues from work that I really respect, he recommended this box. Whatever. I've done some of it. Let me see if it's the same IP. Uh-oh, it said I'm connected. Yeah. It is cold in my house today. Oh, got a prompt here. And I have a flat file. Damn it. Login incorrect. I guess another thing that I would say is, like, when you take the exam, how many are we at? Right, we are at put the time in, something else. I'm trying to track how many tips that I give out. I think this is number 4. And I would say like use so you get to take breaks, use those breaks wisely. You know what I'm saying? Like don't just like use your breaks wisely. That's all I'm gonna say there. There's ways to use your breaks. So use them wisely. Be smart about it. Don't be dumb. I don't want to say too much there, other than use those breaks wisely. I'm trying to log into this thing. It's not really working for me. Run up in the club with the ice on. So I see a lot of stuff about like people wanting the OSCP to be their first certification. Still incorrect. Why is that? I probably need. I don't know why my file here is that's awkward. So for the people that like some people be like, well, some people say stuff like what do I want to say here? Some people say stuff like, well, you need the experience and things like that. Man, if you got the money and the time, let it be your first cert. Now, if you are very what's the word? If you don't want to fail, if you like obviously if you want it to be perfect, if you want to let me back up because I'm about to put out some very bad advice. If you can't handle the failures, definitely don't make it your first cert. After 3 or 4 failures, a lot of people fail. A lot of people just quit, and that's understandable to like for regular dudes. I don't consider myself a regular person. I don't understand why just because it's hard, it can't be your first. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of people look at it like, well, it wasn't my first, so it shouldn't be your first. But definitely wasn't my first. But I'm like, if you that ambitious, use that ambitious fire to go ahead and do something wonderful with your life. Don't wait around for somebody else to like, oh man, I did it wrong. You don't gotta wait for nobody else to kind of like blaze your own trail. For me, it was like I'm working in defensive cyber. That's what I do for a living. I'm a threat hunter. You know what I did? I went out and got the OSCP. Now I'm not the first one to do that, but I'm the first one to. I'm really one of the first ones to. What's the word that I want to say here? I'm one of the first ones to like champion this thing and to actually put like a whole purple team mindset on my back and run with it and do like a what's the word? Do a whole YouTube channel about it and tell you about my experiences. Like I don't know nobody else out there that I'm guessing, IPSEC and John Hammonds and stuff like that, they do, from what I see, they do like blue team stuff and threat hunting as far as what I can tell from what they say. But like to actually be the blueprint for purple team, like being purple, like that's me. You know what I'm saying? And giving you actual technical steps on how to do that. If you're blue in the day, be red at night and vice versa. I'm blazing that trail, and you can't blaze that trail if you're always waiting on somebody else to do something first and then give you advice about that. Not saying don't take advice. What I'm saying is, if you really want to do something or blaze the trail, go ahead. But of course, your money got to be right. Like if you fail that exam, like it's gonna be on you to, pay that extra $250. So I mean, I'm being sensitive there, right? Like, yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate that, man. That feedback. Um, and it's crazy because I remember when I was coming up in this thing, and I was seeing like Ipsec do his thing and John Hammond do his thing, and I was like, man, I'm not ready. Like, these guys are way smarter than me. I'm not ready. And here I'm sitting with OSCP and like other respectable certs, and like I'm still feeling like, man, I'm not ready. Like these guys are way smarter than me. And when I started talking, it's like people started appreciating what I was saying, and like, oh, I logged in finally logged in. People started appreciating what I was saying. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna put my all into this thing, and like I'm gonna just put my life into this YouTube channel to make sure that it might not be easy for you, but at least you got somebody to talk to. Cause bro, one of the things about locking your door and putting on your headphones and getting to it is that shit's lonely. That's just mad lonely. What age? That's a good question. Actual computer science in general was 30. I knew a bit about computers coming into this because I did like music and stuff. So I worked on like I did computer stuff, but I wasn't like really good. I would tell you probably the turning point in my experience with computers was I had a site, a music site where I would sell beats, and I had to do some CSS and some HTML, and I didn't have any coding experience. So I had to like Google change it, Google change it, Google change it, save it, Google change it, save it, and then just learning. And because this was my job, my only job that I had, I could do that all day and all night until the page was perfect. And from there, I got trained on the defensive stuff at 30. So I would say 24, I was doing some like homegrown ass coding, like straight up like sloppy coding. At 30, I learned like pretty much what I should learn. And then what was it, like 32-ish? Started on the actual pen testing, ethical hacking stuff. And then here I am at 36 now. I don't look 36. I try not to look 36, but bro, like it is real, yo. For you older guys out there, for younger guys, I'm hard on you, bro. Ain't no excuse. Ain't no fucking excuse. If you young out there, you better get after it, man. You better have all the certs you want. If you older, I'm a little bit more, what's the word? I'm a little bit more sensitive to your needs because like, excuse me, SSH, because you probably got kids. You probably got like different stuff going on, like crazy credit. Like it's real. Like let's just keep it a buck, right? And so not only do you have that, but you have cognitive decline working against you, and it's tough. And then some dudes are divorced and dealing with like an ex-wife who was a biatch, you know what I'm saying? And like it's a lot of stuff that men go through. And to get in here and still try to get something like OSCP is like, that's not like an easy ask. I know that. Like I haven't been divorced or nothing, but like I can sympathize with that. What cat root.txt, cat flag, what is it, cat user.txt? So my advice to you would just be like, yeah, I appreciate it. Man, I just try to drink a lot of damn water and try to work out. But other than that, I don't really do nothing special. You're 16. That's crazy. 16. This is my advice, bro. I'm gonna give you some advice. Sometimes I'm an idiot. Sometimes I'm not correct, right? So just because I give you advice, think for yourself. I'm gonna preface it with that, right? Because anyway, anybody that I speak to, if you're not a thinker, I don't even want to talk to you anyway. So I preface all my advice with that. definitely take it and think for yourself. At 16, a lot of people are trying to get to play, especially like the smarter 16-year-olds and the smarter younger guys. They're trying to get to Silicon Valley. They want I don't know what the fuck they want out there, but they want a thing out there that they could do, or I don't know. They want to be a part of this crowd. That's admirable. Understand that you have no code and what's the other one? No code and I don't know, but they have these things that could do coding for you. I know I'm getting off subject, but I'm gonna bring it back. Ethical hacking is good because you get a lot of skills. If you're a software engineer, you get one skill. You understand what I'm saying? If you become a back-end developer, if you become a stacked, like any of those development jobs, those are cool and they get you paid, but that's one skill. Ethical hacking is many skills: vulnerability testing, coding, scripting, defensive operations, offensive operations, pen test. Like, ethical hacking is the package. And it's one of those things that if all of this stuff were to die, it's going to be the last to die. So I'm glad you're here. I would definitely stay on this track. Definitely 100%. Now, of course, people, for whatever reason, I have a degree in software engineering, but that's not what I want to do. I specifically got that degree because I wanted to understand what software engineers go through. Let me look around this box. I just got user on Meta too, but it's super easy to get caught up in. Damn, somebody else is already on the box. I see Lynn Pease, bro. I should not be on I thought I paid my money for. Okay, it's Lynn Pease. Yeah. So I wouldn't, if I were 16, I definitely would try to be in ethical hacking, pen testing, or threat hunting. Threat hunting probably would be number one. I don't like for the OSCP though, you have to have like special, what's the word? They're not gonna let you get it at 16 without like a lot of paperwork. The youngest you could be is 18. But I think there's 15. Someone got it at 15. So there is a way. You just have to like really work with them. I wouldn't even be focused on that right now. I would just try to learn as much as possible because people go through something like OSCP for a job, right? So, but I would tell you, like, this joint, like, I hate to put a certification on like a pedestal, but this joint is the apple of my eye because when I first heard about it, I knew that's what I wanted. When I first started hearing rumblings about it being the hard cert, I wanted it. I didn't want anybody to tell me that I couldn't have it. So I went and got it. I'm looking at Lynn Pease on this box. I hope I'm not ruining it. I hope this is not actually a part of the box because if it is, then I might get banned from HackTheBox. But the thing is, man, I pay for a VIP subscription, but I have artifacts on the box. Why is that? Like, what's the point in paying? Like, and I'm not trying to like, you know, flaunt the fact that I'm a VIP user. Like, but I gotta say, like, one of the reasons why I pay for it is so that I have an undisturbed, box. Let me go ahead and put user.txt in this joint. Cat user.txt. Some of these boxes, like what I'm saying is like a lot of these boxes have SQL injection in them. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I'm gonna get off subject a little bit, but if somebody wants another, you know, OSCP question, just let me know. When I see stuff, should I go for Software engineering or cybersecurity degree after school. I got you, bro. I got you. I'm about to answer that. Forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, it probably wasn't nothing. Let's get to that question. Software engineering or cybersecurity degree after school. So what I want you to do, bro, is I want you to stop asking questions like that. And not being mean. I'm gonna tell you the mind frame behind what I'm trying to, what the advice that I'm trying to give you. A better question would be something like, let me think of a better question that would be more appropriate. Basically what I'm getting at here is, what's the most common route it should be your question. And I would tell you the most common route for if people want to get into this field, the most common route will be cybersecurity. Software engineering is not that's not an orthodox way. I did it my way because I just wanted to be different. And that's the point that I'm trying to make as far as like trying to advise you not to ask those kind of questions. When you ask, let me tell you something, like when you take an interest in this field, people, you don't want someone to, you want to talk to everyone as if you're their peer. So your question should come from a, damn, I'm gonna screw this up. Every question you should ask me questions as if you're my peer, regardless. Now, I do want to give out advice, but when it comes to advice that will significantly alter the trajectory of your life, probably don't ask those questions, because the thing is, I can give you one thing just like because I'm in a certain mood, and then the next day I can give you something different. I would ask more technical based questions, or I would try to like defer it. If I'm going to ask a question like that, I would be like, what's the most common route? But yes, that's why I say, like, yeah, I hope that made sense. The thing is like with me, I'm cool. I've probably been in your position before, but I know that if you were to ask somebody like an IPSec, a John Hammond, or like a Network Chuck or somebody like that, that question would probably come off as like, well, this guy is super new and super green behind the ears. And I don't want that for you. So I would probably frame it into like, what's the most common route? And with that said, most of the time people go with cybersecurity degree. But yeah, understand that if you have taken interest in this field, go ahead and claim your real estate. And what I basically mean by that is, ask all your questions, make all your moves as if you belong in the field. And that will make more people open up to you with advice. Never frame your questions as if you are new to the field. Now, if they ask you, just be honest, right? Be honest. Like, yeah, I have like 1 year or 6 months or whatever. But when you frame your questions, try to frame them from a standpoint of a person that actually belongs in the field. I hope that made sense. I probably went on a long ass rant, but that pretty much kills the connection between like YouTubers or like people that got OSCP and stuff like that and the audience, is the fact that a lot of times people have imposter syndrome, and it kind of shows. You don't want to show that, but you do want to get the answers that you want. So I would just say, what's the most common route there? Yeah. I would tell you right now, yes, sir. Yeah, definitely. 100%. Because at the end of the day, you want more advice from people, and you don't want to close them off. So yeah, definitely 100% watch that. For the OSCP, now I will admit something to you. The OSCP has changed since I took it, and it hasn't even been that long. It's been like a year and a few months, man. A year and what is that? July and November is like what? July is 7, November is 11, like a year and 4 months since I took it, and it's changed drastically. So even though I do know a lot about like Active Directory, I do know a lot about ethical hacking, this new form of the test, I can only like speak as an outsider. But I would tell you that I would also say that it's going to feel, when you take the exam, it's going to feel like they didn't go over a lot of stuff. That's what it's going to feel like. So that's why I tell people, I always bring it back to the aficionado conversation, where it's like, once you get the basic foundation from them, you want to go out and branch off on your own. You want to be able to talk about this stuff every single day. You want it to become a part of your identity. You were a gamer before? Good. Now you're an ethical hacker, right? You were a Pokemon card collector right now. I mean, previously, good. You're an OSCP right now. You're an ethical hacker right now. That's your identity. You don't have other hobbies. This is your hobby, at least until you get the cert, because you want to live and breathe it. There's a technical way to get there, but you can't have other things competing with you. With that said, the OSCP, boom, Pin 300, whatever we're calling it now, they're going to give you a, baseline stuff. This is LFI, this is SQL injection and all of this stuff. And it's going to lay it out for you. They don't want anyone, because so they let you use notes, right? They don't want anyone to like take the exam and then when they get stuck, go straight to the PDF and get the answer. Some stuff, yes, but if you could just rely on the PDF and go back and forth and just pass the whole exam, like, everybody would have it. So you have to go in it with that mind frame. Like, what could they throw at me that would confuse me? And then go after those things. Common examples are like, what do you do when it's like, you've ran through your entire methodology, right? You ran through all of the methodology for like, so my methodology, I'm just going to lay it out here right now. With Windows, the first thing I check is user privileges, user permissions, user groups, things like that. See what the user has. Then I'm going to check any non-default scripts, non-default programs, non-default folders. Then I'm going to check the registry. Then I'm going to check for any low-hanging credentials and things like that. And then I'm going to check for any, I already said non-default programs. So those are the big four that I'm going to look for, right? I want to do that in 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes of being on that box, I want to run through my entire methodology. So I need a script for that. I need to lay out some steps, whatever I need to do. I need to run through my entire methodology in that first 10 minutes, because that box may require you to be looking for that privs for the next 6 hours, for the next 3 hours, etc. So you want to get all of the knowledge that you know out ahead of time. And that's real. Because again, it's one of those things where they want to keep I don't want to say hard, but they want to keep the certification prestigious. But I would tell you, it's going to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing that I saw on the OSCP was unrealistic. Every single thing I saw on there was realistic. So people giving you that advice, like people say like, well, they'll fail the OSCP and they'll say, what else? They'll say stuff like, it doesn't reflect a real pen test. Let me move my camera over because it's like mad weird right here. They'll say that the OSCP doesn't reflect a real pen test and things like that. But how is this thing working? Why? Oh, it might be like backwards or something. I don't know. Let me get straight into the camera. Oh, shit. My bad, y'all. Let me just get perfectly into I just don't understand why, if I'm going this way, but my camera's going the opposite way, why am I getting more into the camera? All right, man. My bad, bro. I do want to make this point while I'm having eye contact. This is weird, man. So I'm not gonna ask any questions. My lens or something must be off. This is the middle. My hand is in the middle of my lens right now. That's weird. I don't know. All right. Screw it. I'll deal with it later. People say stuff like the OSCP doesn't reflect the like an actual pen test. It can't. If you want something like that, go to PNPT. But I would say that all of the vulnerabilities, all of the paths to Privask and all of that, that's real. It wasn't any like capture the flag things. It was genuine like that. You know. What language did you find the most useful during your journey into now? Good questions. Now we're getting good questions for me. All right. So it might be different for you. So I'm going to speak on like general like cybersecurity, and then I'm going to speak on like actual pen testing stuff. PowerShell, like straight up 100% my whole journey, PowerShell, bro. And then toward the back end of my career, it would be Bash. So these are like scripting languages, not necessarily. This camera's gonna fucking bother me the whole day because it's aiming over there, man. Whew, I spent a lot of money on this camera. I hope I didn't screw it up. But yes, PowerShell and then Bash. And the reason those two is because the reason those two are most powerful is because those are respective to I'm gonna get it right. A kernel. With PowerShell obviously being the Windows kernel, and then the Bash being the Linux kernel, right? You can't go wrong learning those, because if you are a pen tester and you're in on the box, what do you need to know? Oh, maybe know the operating systems language. Boom, right? Secondly would be Python. I wouldn't say that I know Python. I'm pretty good with it. I wouldn't say that I know it. I have definitely built good stuff with Python, but I am far more comfortable with Bash and PowerShell. Yes. So I would tell you, I didn't really build any tools for the OSCP, but if I were to go back, I would definitely 100% build tools. If I had to take it again, like if it were one of those certs that were, what's the word I'm looking for? If the cert was, if you had to retake it over and over again, I would definitely do some scripts. Yep. And if I were doing Linux, right? Because Windows is my favorite, but I have to, run it in Linux all the time. If I were doing Linux, I would make a script that it would be kind of like linp's, but it would be my way, right? I would check user local bin. The thing about user local bin, like a lot of people don't know, is people put things in user local bin when, let me explain this correctly. I want to be as accurate as possible. The programs in user local bin a lot of times are not managed. They're not managed by package managers. Did I say that right? Yes. They're not managed by package managers. So what that basically means is they could go outdated. They could be outdated. They're more likely to be outdated than anything else. So user local bin is the one there. Then I would let my script check the op folder and then the var folder, and then finally check the home folder and the op folder. Everything else is like it could be, but like those are the folders that I would like be focused on. SQL, SQL. When I was going for my IT degree, which I got like super late, by the way, they taught me SQL and I just forgot it. I straight up forgot it. It's good that you know SQL, man. I will tell you, I don't know if SQL, I hope it does. I hope it does. When I do SQL injection, I look at that and then I look at the SQL language and I'm like, I don't know if this will, when I've done Python command injection, I've done SQL injection, I've done XML entity, It's XML entity injection, and I've probably done all the injections. The one thing that I would say is I don't know if, and this is just probably my brain. It might not be everybody else's brain, but I don't know if learning that language ahead of time would have helped me with those injections. But that, again, that might just be me. Definitely 100% still learn it, but just understand, like, if you know SQL and you run into a SQL injection problem, as a matter of fact, let's talk about that for a minute. I'm going to show my screen now. Let's talk about that for a minute. Now, I'm not going to hack the box if you're watching. I'm not going to show any of your stuff. Relax. But I do have an active box open. So there's that. But I do want to talk about this on screen for a minute, because I think it's important, especially for people that are taking any type of exam or whatever the case. So this is basically PHP, and then you have like SQL query here, right? And if you know it, you probably already know what that does and everything like that. And you probably, if you're super good with it, then you probably also know that before we did, what's good, man? What's good? Oh, let me go back. What am I doing? I just threw my whole live stream off. Okay. You probably know from everything, and until I put that in there, basically it was accepting non-sanitized username. And so you know that you can get like SQL injection there, basically. What I'm basically getting at is, this is a simple example. SQL injection gets far more complicated, especially when you have different parameters going in and things like that. I forgot where I was even going with that. Actually, let's just say this then, and I'm just going to come back to here. I'm just going to say this about SQL injection and all of the injections. Actually, let's go back in here. Software engineering security framework. Where is it? Learn this, bro. If you're going to be a pen tester, you don't have to know it by heart. Know that it exists. Know that during the testing phase of the engineering process, engineers have to go through this. Why did I bring this up? Because if you know SQL, if you know Python, if you build stacks, right, for organizations, there's going to come a time where you need to test that stack. And that's where pen testers normally come in. So pen testers will go ahead and they'll test your web app, or they'll test the stack, the whole stack in general. Basically, it'll have to be based on a contract basis. Like, what do you poke at? What do you not poke at? And I bring all that up to say, software engineers would generally be watching their sanitation. And so if you run into a box, sometimes the box's creator will make a, what do I want to say here? The box will make a genuine attempt to filter the input. This doesn't mean that it's infallible, and that this doesn't mean that it's unbreakable. And that's where you have to use, and I keep going back and forth, bro, but y'all gotta understand, I'm like, sometimes when you're passionate about stuff, you act like me, right? Payload all the things. This is probably the most helpful resource I have ever known. If I want to defeat, let's just say, let's go to directory traversal here. Let's just say I want to defeat, excuse me, some kid or some software engineer put a basic directory traversal filter on the input. Maybe they just defeated the .. What I would do is I would come to intruder and use one of these, and they have all different types of payloads. And I assure you, if they didn't do it properly, one of these is going to get through, and then boom, I got directory. I got local file inclusion. The same thing for SQL injection. Maybe, And this is a big maybe, so take this with a grain of salt. So the OSCP says, okay, you can't use SQL map, but then you find actual SQL injection. What do? Well, you come to this site and you say, all right, I'm about to use all of these payloads to see if I can get SQL injection. And so there's not just like, one or one equals one. Like you don't just have that. You have a bunch of stuff, and then you have all of these files. So it's all about once the software engineer creates the stack, you want to defeat that in any way possible. Don't just try like one payload and say, oh, well, the quote didn't work, so we're going to stop, because you're giving up too soon. So definitely wanted to say that about. I know you have ever spoken about this, but what would you do if you were agent? How would you plan yourself if you wanted to be a pro? Man, it wouldn't have been. Damn, it's crazy. So my plan, man. So I'll to speak on this, I gotta go back just a little bit further back. So around the time when I started getting serious about life, bro, I learned that you have to be, if you want to be anything in this world, man, you have to give before you get. And I say that because you have to find a valuable profession, something that society values. So that's what would have led me here, I think. And then once you get into once your life is on the right trajectory, right? You're 19 or 20, but you don't know your purpose or where you should be. Somebody kind of brings up this ethical hacking thing to you, and then you like slightly like adjust your trajectory so that you're on the right path, right? But that's just a start. Once you do that, you need to start talking to people. And from there, you just repeat the process. All right. I'm outside, right? I'm outside of the whole cybersecurity ethical hacking realm. What do I need to do to reflect my skills well, to do what I was here to do? By the way, I have sick computer skills. Oh, they have ethical hacker. Boom. I'm focused on the right thing now. Let's do that again. All right. Now I'm in. What do I need to focus on to be the most valuable person here? Oh, well, I just heard about this cert that's offensive security, OSCP. It's the hardest cert. It's 24 hours. I failed it. A whole bunch of people failed it. Boom. I'm going to aim for there. That's as simple as it is. That's it. With my mind frame and where I came from and what I was going to do, I wanted to be the most valuable person in my workspace. And I didn't want to leave that up to chance. And so once I got that mind frame, like what do I need to do? What cert do I need to get? What trajectory do I need to go on? And like I just told Scary up here, it's like I never wanted to ask a question and give the perspective or give the perception that I didn't belong. So even though I wanted to ask people, I wanted to ask, my boss was really into this stuff, but I didn't want to say, hey boss, what cert do I need to get? Because now it's like, well, you got to figure it out for yourself. That's exactly what he would have said to me. And then it would have closed that off. Instead, what I did was I would just overhear the stuff that he was doing. Like he would come into work and he'd be bragging. He'd be like, yeah, I did this, and this on HackTheBox, this on HackTheBox. And it was like, no one else could fuck with him. Excuse my language. No one else could screw with him, because it was like, even though he was our boss and he was a manager, he also knew his stuff. So it's like, my ear is open to him, and I'm like, I'm going to, instead of asking him, what do I need to do next? I'm going to emulate him. And so, getting back to your question, so I don't get too off track. If I were 19 or 20, I would follow that same blueprint. Make sure I'm in the field. And make sure that I'm doing the right thing, not to be at the middle of the pack. I want to be above the pack. And OSCP at the time when I first started this was above the pack. So many people were failing it. I remember my boss, man, one of my previous bosses, not the one that I was just talking about. He was a really cocky dude, man, real cocky. And he had a whole bunch of certs, And he was really smart. This dude could actually like, I don't want to say too much about him because he might know who I'm talking about. Put it like this. He was that dude, right? But he couldn't pass OSCP. And that made me want it even more. So if I were a 19 or 20-year-old, I would say go for those types of certs and don't let go. As far as like pre-planning though, I would say like I wasn't the type when I was 19 or 20 to say, all right, this is how I'm planning the next 90 days of my life. This is how I'm planning the next 5 years of my life. Like I just wanted to do something where I could work hard as hell with it. I wanted to work. So I wanted to really, really work and really be valuable. But at the same time, I didn't want a manual labor job. I didn't want a job that nobody gave a fuck about. Like I wanted something exciting, right? Of course, at 19 or 20 years old, I wasn't into this field. I was actually into music and I was doing my thing there too. Like I didn't blow up and like, I didn't blow up and become like multi-platinum artist, but at the same time, like in my city, like people knew me, like everybody knew me because not only was I working hard, but I was putting out decent stuff and I was doing shows. That ended up becoming not valuable. And so I ended up getting out of music. And that was just my whole mind frame. It's like, whatever I'm going to do, let me be valuable. And oh, by the way, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to the top. What would I do to specialize in to get 200K in the future? I think I just answered that. 20K in the future. I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get 20K. Well, let me not say, 200. Fuck, I'm screwing that up. 200. Again, when I say things, there may be exceptions. So, whatever. I'm speaking in the area that I'm in now. So I don't want to like reveal too much about where I'm at, but Southern East Coast, United States of America, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you asking it because you guys are keeping the live stream going. You're keeping the live stream interesting. So you don't even know the advice might be good to you. You don't understand how good your question is to me. Like the shit is like literally mutual, bro. And I appreciate you. 200K, it depends on where you live. I'm going to speak on my area. 200K is definitely above average. You're above the average. You're above the average guy. You're above me. Like, as a matter of fact, like if you were making 200K, I would say at 19 or 20, let me tell you about one guy that I knew he was actually a little bit older than 19 or 20, but I mean, he was like 24, 24, 25, something like that. He was still young compared to like a lot of us, right? This dude, if you met this dude, you would be in like immediately enamored by his hustle. He was the type that like one time at work, someone had locked their keys in their car and they couldn't get to work for whatever reason. I don't know what the fuck that was about. And from work, he got on like line or something and went into his computer at home and did a whole bunch of stuff. And he unlocked this guy's car. He unlocked it, bro. He unlocked this guy's car remotely and he got to work. He got his keys out and got to work. Like this kid was this gifted. He was, if you were like around him and you had your phone, like you had to turn your phone off because he'd have his own little rig in his pocket, like pen testing your phone, bro. Like he was just that good. He was like a guy that walked on water. This kid could get 200K easy in the future. He specialized in understanding everything. Yes. And this is probably like, these are the stories that I know. Like I know there's stories that, as far as getting into, so he had like, the computer, but the same difference, right? He didn't have anything fancy other than like remoting into his stuff at home. And he unlocked this guy's car. So don't know how he did it. Don't know if just like he was just planning his whole life just to unlock this guy's car. And he just had that one thing. It had to be when you ask him questions, it was like, you didn't get much from him because he was just a humble guy, but he would do things like that. Like he was just that good. He ended up getting away from us and, you know, getting the money that he actually deserved, because we weren't paying. We just didn't pay him enough. He got 200K. That specialization to get on a path like that, you can't just say ethical hacking, or you can't just say OSCP. You have to think beyond that, because again, he's on aficionado status. You know, there's the OSCP, and then there's a guy that's just a little bit better than OSCP, and there's like an aficionado that just like you see gamers, just like you see, I don't know, you see OnlyFans models, you see who else? You see people that chase aliens around, like the Alex Joneses of the world. What do all of these people have in common? The OnlyFans, the Alex Joneses, like all of these people are aficionados in their respective fields. Like they want to be known for doing one thing, whether it kills them or not. They're gonna go out swinging on that one thing. So this guy didn't just get OSCP and was like, all right, I'm done. Let me just go ahead and get my check, and then I'm gonna just drink my coffee every day. No, this kid was going home every single day, and I don't want to, you know, speak for him, but I mean, I would suggest that he was probably like, you know, combing the dark web, combing the deep web to see how he could stay on the cutting edge, because these are the real pen testers. The real pen testers are not like staying with the pack. They want to stay on the cutting edge of things so that they could basically do magic. If you're not doing magic, you're not on the cutting edge. You know, everything that like a real pen tester does, it feels like magic. So back to the question, if I wanted 200K as a 19 or 20-year-old, I would basically be trying to fucking do magic every time I touched a computer. And there's not a super defined way to get there. It is possible for you, because I've seen it with my own eyes, bro. Lot to say there. I'm not there. I don't think I'm there yet. I'm trying to get there every single day. That's why I started doing these things every morning, to make sure that I'm getting after some kind of way. Yeah, my bad. I'm responding to this text. I forgot. Like I text this person, but yeah, keep the questions coming. Like give me like 1 second to respond to this. Yes. So basically try to walk on water. Now I'm gonna get a little bit weird here, because I'm a weird dude. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I personally believe, and you can like think for yourself on this, because I expect everyone in the live chat to be thinkers for yourself. Always think for yourself. Even though you get advice, think for yourself, bro. I personally believe that you can't get to that next level of technical ability without some kind of spirituality, like some kind of spiritual development in your life. And so I heavily lean, like I'm not religious. That's not what I mean. Not to say that it's wrong for you to be religious, but I'm not a religious dude. I get deep into different types of spiritual things. Now, I'm not going to speak on it anymore. I'm just going to tell you, like, for me, like, I want to know about ancient history. I want to know about how they did things in the past. I want to know about every single religion. I want to know about, like, okay, how did they get from here to here as an ancient civilization? I want to know about, why did these people think that they saw aliens, right? What were the, ancient Sumerians doing with these tablets? And why did they think they were so advanced? And what are they saying? Like, I'm studying all of that to give myself an extra edge, so that I feel like there's nothing that I'm missing on the back end of human development, right? Because on YouTube, right, if you look, and I'm gonna get to your point in a minute, because I don't want to derail the whole conversation, and I'm glad I got somebody here with me. If you look, everybody's trying to self-develop, right? Everybody's looking online, like YouTube, like either you're listening to like affirmations, or what do they call them, subliminals. A lot of like subliminals are really hot, right? Like people like to listen binaural beats and subliminals, trying to like redo their personality and stuff like that, and that's fine, man. I'm not crapping on that or saying that that's bad. I'm simply saying that the self-help stuff that we have presented to us, everybody's using it. If you looked at, like, when people have YouTube pulled up at work and you see their recommended, everybody's recommended looks the same. Everybody's recommended has Dr. Huberman. Everybody's recommended has IPSEC in it. It has John Hammond in it. It has Lex Friedman in it. It has, well, who else? Who else do you see all the time? Biden, like binaural beats, affirmations, things like that. People that are at the top of either self-help or cybersecurity, etc., because everybody's using YouTube to get better. So if I want to be a cut above them, I need to go deeper. So that's why I bring up spirituality, in that there's a way that humans leverage things so that they could be more developed, so that they could push themselves further. And some of that information is just not interesting to most people. And so I'm going to go dig that up. And so that's why I bring up spirituality. Like, you know, if somebody wants to talk, if we want to talk more in a private chat on that, we could do that. I don't want to make that public, because you're going to think that I'm fucking weird, bro. You're going to think that I'm weird. But I always at least consider a point of view. And that keeps me, that gives me an edge over other people, in that I'm at least considering a point of view in a certain direction. Let's talk about this $250K job at Google as a cybersecurity analyst. He was only 19 at the time. Does he still have that job as a cybersecurity analyst? I would, man, bro, I'll tell you like this, man. It's a scary time. Like, if you look at, I don't know if anyone is monitoring the situation at Twitter. But if you're not, if you've been living under a rock, Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, and it is scary times for people. And we're in a time in society where we can outsource cybersecurity easily. We can do that because we have AWS. Like, Amazon will take care of that for you. You have Microsoft will take care of that for you. And it's just a lot more efficient and better to do that. With all of that said, I would definitely 100% understand where we are right now. I know I've gotten off the OSCP advice a little bit, but I want to hammer this home. OSCP cannot prepare you for, OSCP is good, and OSCP is a challenge, and you should go ahead and take that cert, no doubt. It cannot prepare you for the current situation, which is, no matter if you want to deny it or not, if you want to deny it or not, that's fine. But oh yeah. So I'm gonna give you an example. If I'm an organization and I'm making, let's just say I'm Twitter, I want to make sure that everything that I'm hosting, as far as my whole entire technology stack, is coming out of a cloud somewhere. I want Amazon to handle that. You know, I want Microsoft to handle that. I don't want to handle that myself. He went to he's working there right now. That's good. Tell him to keep his options open, bro. Let him know to better himself constantly every single day and keep his options open. Like, don't fall in love with Google. Don't fall in love with Google. Definitely tell him to work his ass off. You know, definitely, you know, be humble and give to that company, but telling him to be ready to make moves. You know what I'm saying? Always be ready for like something crazy, because Twitter has taught us that. Twitter taught us that, like, you could be super good and the company really value you, and then next thing you know, that company is being sold to somebody else, and then they're laying people off. And you want to definitely, because what ends up happening with somebody like that, especially at a young age, they become like pigeonholed into what the company wants, and they don't develop themselves outside of that. And so as soon as they lay them, like as soon as they get laid off, whatever, or furloughed or whatever we're calling it now, and they try to go work for another company, and the company's like, bro, we don't need any of that. Like, we don't use any of that. And the only reason I know that to be actual fact is because at my current company that I'm at now, I wanted to make a move. I wanted to go work at the time for Amazon. And let me check this message. I wanted to go work for Amazon. Amazon told me straight up, we need cloud pen testing experience. And at the time, like now I would be straight, but at the time, which was 2018, I didn't have that. I wanted to lie on my resume, bro. I'm going to keep it 100 with you, bro. I wanted to lie on my resume because I wanted that job so bad. The reason I bring that up though is regardless, like I was killing it. Like by 2018, no, this was 2019, my bad. By 2019, I was killing it, bro. 100%. Like I was literally driving the operations for like, I mean, even though I wasn't in an actual manager position, like the things that I was doing, like the scripts that I was creating, the tools that I was creating was driving shit for my company. Well, not my company per se, but the little section that I was in. So I knew that I would have did well, but they didn't want any of my skills, regardless of how much experience that I had at that time. So what I would give to anyone that's going to go and work for, especially these big companies that have so much room to work with, especially when it comes to like who they want to do their cybersecurity stuff. Make sure your skills keep up with the industry. 100%. Make sure you're understanding cloud and what that means. Make sure, okay, you work for Google. Understand what Microsoft would need in case you need to jump ship. Make sure you know what Cloudflare or whatever competitors or whatever the case. Make sure you know what they would need. Pen testers, though, I know because I put OSCP in the title, so a lot of people are interested in pen testing. First of all, I would tell you, that's what I'm asking. Like for someone who has been there, like what's better, for example, CloudSec, web pen testing. So this is another one of those questions where I would tell you, you're going to have to figure this one out for yourself. I could tell you, like, I could give you the actual answer, but you got to understand, like, technology is moving quickly. If I give you an actual answer and then you go 5 years and you're still using the same answer, that's bad. So the technical answer to this right now, they need to be prioritizing cloud security. And then secondly, prioritizing, what's the word that I want to look for here? Pen testing technology stack. So that's basically going to be your web apps, your back-end databases, your back-end databases. That doesn't make sense. Your back-end applications and your databases, front ends and all that. Just understanding the whole layout there. And then understanding, okay, if I need to pen test this certain part of the stack, what does that look like? The real answer to that is things are going to change. We don't know how long cloud's going to be around. We don't know if cloud's going to absolutely blow up or just like shrink. We don't know that. And so, yes, my advice might be good now, but ultimately understanding that like there's a danger behind being super good at your job at work. And that danger is you're so good there that you're not peeking on the outside to see what everybody else is doing. And I only say that again because I gave up a ton of money. I walked away from a ton of money. Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I walked away from a ton of money, pigeonholing myself into what my employer needed. Now, with that advice there, I would also say that pen testers, make sure pen testing is what you want to do if you want to do it. Make sure it's what you want to do. Like, people come into pen testing thinking like, man, I get to hack every day. I get to hack ethically. That sounds exciting. Well, so I've never been on a pen test. I have friends that have been on a penetration test, and I definitely think 100% that I could do the job effectively, efficiently. I think I could kill it. And so with that said, you just have to take my advice with another grain of salt, understanding that I haven't really done the job. Like, I haven't been responsible for producing things on the job, but I've worked with a lot of them. What I get from their job is you're going to go in and you're going to do your scans. Well, before you do all of that, you're going to have to basically walk through the project management cycle in that you're going to have to elicit requirements from these people. And sometimes your manager is going to be in charge of that, but they're not going to know what they're doing. Your manager, a lot of times, it's not going to be a pen tester. Hopefully they are in some kind of way, but a lot of times they're not. So they're going to try to elicit requirements, which basically is eliciting needs from this technology creator. And a lot of times the creators, the people that are actually responsible for the software project, don't know what they want. Sometimes they're going to say, all right, well, I just want you to pen test this one little thing, or maybe I want you to pen test the entire stack. You got to help them figure that out. But that's kind of like for another video, right? But just know that that's a pain. Once you get the contract done and then you know your like rules of engagement, I think that's what they call it. I don't know what they call it, but basically what you should and shouldn't do, right? If you don't get into that box, you got to deal with that. If you don't get into that stack, that's not really a great feeling. Like if you've been working on a pen test for an X amount of, weeks or days or whatever the case, and you don't get in, you got to deal with that. And that's a tough pill to swallow, bro. So you got to make sure you're ready for that. And so what ends up happening is people, yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things like you should have a few steps to do. So I don't know. So I'm gonna address both lanes. If you do your task right, but you don't get in, you just don't get in for whatever reason. And you just got to go home. You got to deal with that. Now imagine going a whole year doing pen tests. You never ever get in. That's hard. That's a hard life. So pen testers, they generally resort to finding ticky-tack vulnerabilities. Like, oh, well, this here is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. And I know you can't get much from this certain cross-site scripting thing, but it's vulnerable. Check this out. And then everything that you find is low risk. And so you present that to your customer and they're like, bro, I don't give a shit about none of this. Like the hacker ain't going to be able to get in. So I'm going to keep going. So over time, they lose confidence in you and then you lose the contract. If you just fail to do your task, though, like if you just fail to do an Nmap scan, whatever the case, like, nah, that's different. Now you're on the chopping block. Now you might get fired. Now you might get fired, bro. So those are two different things. I'm pretty sure you probably been. Yeah. So I do think pen testing is fun. I don't think that I could deal with the monotony, and that's just me. Even though I got pen testing certs, I like threat hunting because like whether I find a hacker depends on me and my hustle and how I get down, how I study every day. That depends on me. So the OSCP and the GXPN help me locate payloads, help me locate attacker methodologies. So when I go in as a blue teamer or as a threat hunter, it's easier to find them because I'm an avid, vicious exploit researcher. That's what I would call myself. A vicious exploit researcher. And that fits me because it's a lot less common to find a hacker than to hack something. So I'm gonna make that make sense. It's a lot less common to find a hacker than to pen test and get in. Like you should be getting in on a fairly good basis, but if you don't, that's gonna really hurt because you're not gonna know if it's your skills or if it's just like these guys are really just secure. At least for most of us, there's a few of us that would know, but for the majority of us, we wouldn't know. Right? Where did I miss? Oh, now there are times where, as a pen tester, and again, I'm speaking vicariously from people that work with me, there are times where someone may be like, man, look, just pen test this one little login page, whatever. And so you run all your payloads and you're like, hey, I ran every single payload there is to man, everything's fine. That's good and that's bad because you didn't get in. So I don't know. Even though you don't want to get in, you want to get in, right? Because you don't want to get in because you want these people to have a secure application, but then you want to get in to validate your skills work. So that's a challenging duality to deal with. So that's a lot to consider. And if you have considered that and you still say, yes, this is what I want to do, go for it. Now, that's your typical pen tester. The guy that I was explaining earlier, as I don't want to say his name, the guy that I was explaining earlier is above pen testing. He is definitely, he walks on water. If you want to get there, obviously you need to be a pen tester first to like get those skills. But more importantly, he became an aficionado. And that's the next step. Have I ever come across a very dangerous threat? So there's things that I can and can't talk about. So I gotta make sure that I don't violate any agreements here. I will put it like this. You know how people use things like Brute Retail, PowerShell Empire, Cobalt Strike, right? I have caught those things. And once you catch those things, there's a next step, which is your forensics analysis and things like that to just confirm that you found what you found. And then it's like, yeah, we found it. And you start to do the process of, there's two ways you can go about it. You can watch the hacker and you can go ahead and clean up and keep going. Well, sometimes we watch the hacker just to make sure that we're getting everything we need to get. And then so now we can put out a report to let people know, hey, you want to watch for these commands, you want to watch for these things and all of that stuff. So yes, I've definitely come across some very, very sloppy stuff too, man. Let me tell you, like some stuff, bro, I'll be looking at it and I'll be like, he did what, bro? And to me, that's more exciting because like pen testers can do one thing, but like I'm watching actual hackers like bumble and stumble the fuck around and do dumb shit. And I'm like, yo, you had one shot to get this right. Like you were in, bro. You were in a very, very good spot to do something really good. And you fucked this up. You really did. Like, I've seen stuff where like let me make sure I can talk about it. Yeah. The attacker gets in, right? All right, let me stop. I would just say this. Are there any threat emulators here, like red teamers? This would be good advice for a red teamer. I would just say this for people that are threat emulators and red teamers. Work with your tools. You can't just be a red teamer. If you have an engagement coming up or whatever the case, run your stuff in labs and see if you can see yourself. Prime example, and I'm getting this from real world stuff, like real world dangerous threats. People will get in and do scans and not know the artifacts that their scans leave behind. They're just doing because they did it on HackTheBox or they did it on like Try Hack Me, and they're like, red team ops, this is perfect. This is perfect for you. Things like Nmap. Watch Nmap, bro. Nmap is not Nmap is great for like HackTheBox and stuff like that. But if you're like a red teamer, Nmap is, you can't just be like crazy with Nmap. Because people are going to know that it's specifically Nmap. And if they say, oh, well, I don't use Nmap on this server that that's currently owned, then we're just going to isolate the server. And keep in mind, like, there are replication practices, right? So let's say you own a DC, and for whatever reason, I don't know why you want to do this, but you did an nmap from that DC, and we catch it. We're going to isolate that server and then replicate its duties. I think that's how you say it. Delegate its duties to the next DC. And so you're screwed. We know we got you trapped in there, and we might honeypot you. That's another thing, right? You don't want to get honeypotted, bro. So your tools, if you are like, sometimes people do red team mops and then like the blue team don't know what they're doing. That's fine, right? But I would say as a red teamer, operate as closely to a professional and a competent hacker as you can, because you're not there to just play around on people's stuff. You're there to actually emulate a threat, a meaningful threat. So with that said, definitely 100%. Like, I don't know. I believe that a threat hunter, if you threat hunt, or at least you're on a few threat hunts and you actually see real world stuff, you say, man, that guy was like super sloppy. You can go back in a red team perspective and you can do things the correct way. And one thing that I recently learned is that nmap is super loud, and people know you're running nmap. People will know it because it's going to leave behind little artifacts. Like, there was one thing that I saw where nmap scanned something and it literally left the username as nmap. I was like, Jesus, man, like, like nmap's that sloppy? It's like, yeah, like it's really that sloppy. So yeah, understand that. Where are we at? 7:55. I'm gonna go another like 5 more minutes, or I don't know. If we get into a good conversation, we might go longer. But it's 7:55. OSCP advice, everything that, like, the whole feel of this live stream, right? It's probably the biggest advice that I want to give you. You can see how passionate and excited I am about the whole field, red teaming and blue teaming. I'm excited about it all. I could do it all, to me, on the same level. Now, you might be the judge of that to actually see if I'm doing it on the right level. But in my head, they're both the same. They're both equally exciting. And I can tell you a whole bunch of stuff about both. Ultimately, you want to get through a cert like OSCP. You want to get through a cert like some of these complicated certs. I think one of my guys up here mentioned PMPT. PMPT. Like, if you want to get through a cert like that, you definitely 100% want to be an aficionado, like be passionate about it. And that you take it all in and you're doing your own thinking for yourself. Have I ever done something non-ethical? And as far as a threat hunter, I've never, there's not any use cases where I could do anything unethical. I mean, if you're talking about like in the conduct of my job, like, you know, I'm thinking you're probably talking about oh man, that's a good point, Trent. We're gonna get into that. That's a really good point. As far as unethical though, like the things that I consider unethical is like, if I got on a live stream, right, and I talk to you about a client and I talk to you about very specific things just to get my YouTube channel some views, I would consider that unethical. And I'm very careful about protecting, first of all, where I work. Like, I don't try to reveal that at all. And then even if somebody were able to like go through things and figure out where I work, you wouldn't know the clients that I work with. You wouldn't know the conditions or like what they were going through, the stacks they were using, etc. I would keep it very light like that for a reason. And then I would double check that by going back through the video to make sure, like absolute sure, that I didn't reveal anything. That's probably the most unethical thing that I could do, is leverage the vulnerabilities of my WG masters. Yeah, I'm gonna get into all that WGU, get into all that. leverage the weaknesses of my customers and my clients just to make my YouTube channel better. That's probably the single most unethical thing that I could do, and I would never do that. So I would say no there. I have done something close, and there was one time I was on a blue team and a red team exercise, and I was the blue team, and I tried to hack the red team. I wanted to hack the shit out of the red team. They were using at the time Cobalt Strike had a CVE out, and it was remote code execution, if I'm not mistaken. And I was gonna get remote code execution on this thing, and I was there, and one of the other blue teamers came back and was like, "Is anybody scanning the red team?" And I'm like, "You can't do that, bro. That's unethical. We can't train like that. We have to train like we would work." And he went and told them, he went and told the boss, and then like, the small boss at the time. And then when we had our final meeting, because we do red team, blue team meetings, and then we talk about like what we did and didn't do. Like, one of the other guys was like, "Yeah, you can't really do that, because if we were actually working with a client, maybe we were working for the government or something like that, you can go to jail and blah, 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 and FBI would get involved, and there's some things you can and can't do." I'm like, I wanted to say, relax, bro. We're on our stuff. We built our own range. The range belongs to all of us equally. Just relax. But like, I ended up saying, like, you know what? I concede defeat. I wasn't supposed to hack their shitty Cobalt Strike thing. So I was like, you know what? I'll take the blame for that. But then I was like, I told my bigger boss, I told her, and I was like, yeah, I did this and this and this. And guess what, bro? She started laughing, yo. She thought it was hilarious. So she actually liked that, because from her perspective, she was like, yeah, you're not like technically supposed to be doing it, but like, it's at the end of the day, it's a simulation. Like, it's like you're thinking outside the box, you're learning what you could learn, and then you might end up like, changing this whole thing for the better by actually learning about the attacker infrastructure. So, nothing that you did was like, although you wouldn't want to do that on a real engagement or a real like threat hunt, like you did it out of curiosity. So that was my like mentorship from her to me. And I appreciated that, because I hadn't even thought about it like that. I just wanted to win. But that would be my like closest unethical story. Again, we were in a controlled exercise, so I didn't really do anything. And the Cobalt Strike instance belonged equally to me, as it was equally mine as it was the red team. So like, again, like, whatever. But they were really upset with me. Let's talk about CISSP and master's degrees. I currently have 2 master's degrees, and sometimes I want to beat myself up over it. I originally got my first master's degree in business administration, because all I wanted to do was marketing. When I found out that marketing was basically what do I want to call it? Marketing was going like just not where you wanted to be, especially with, how Facebook does business, how Google does business, how like the ads and stuff, and how you have to collect people's information and stuff. And then like, you ever been on a social media site and just been absolutely bothered by ads? Like, that would have been me. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that, even though I got a degree in it, right? Kind of off subject, but what I ultimately want to say there is, and my camera might go out in a minute because I've been talking a long time. What I ultimately want to say there is, master's degrees are your manager level. So don't go to a master's degree thinking that you're going to get a deeper level of technical insight, because you're not. The deepest level of technical insight you're going to get from a degree is your bachelor's degree. Period. Now, there are certain exceptions, but very few exceptions. Your master's degree is your managerial level, your leadership level. CISSP, that's definitely going to be my next one. Like, no question. I mean, I'm probably going to get like along the way. Like, let me not say my next one. That is my next goal. My next goal is CISSP. I am not excited about the CISSP, however, because I do know that is a lot of manager stuff, but I do know that I need that. My actual thoughts are twofold. With me being a technician by heart, me being like super technical by heart, I'm not excited about it, and that's it. That's just what it is. I do know that it is like with all of the certs and certifications that I have, it's like the cherry on top, and so I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and do it. Um, I don't believe. I believe that if you the people that I know that have CISSP, the what do I want to say here? Having CISSP is definitely, that's the money ticket. You want that. I've never CISSP within itself doesn't give a person a leg up in threat hunting or pen testing. It just doesn't. It doesn't give you a leg up, bro. Probably if you are an actual manager, it gives you a leg up. If you're sitting amongst other like stakeholders and CEOs and what do they call it, board of directors, it gives you a leg up at that point, because now you're thinking business need and things like that. You're thinking straight up business need 100%, and it's training you for that. But it's not going to help you be a better threat hunter. Obviously, it's not going to help you be a better pen tester. The WGU Masters aligns with CISSP. Go ahead and get it as early as possible. That's my biggest regret. I had the opportunity to get the CISSP, but I was too cocky and too arrogant to get it. You know, too full of myself, too full of my ego to get it. And now I'm looking back. It was probably a year ago, actually. Now I had the perfect opportunity to just sit and study and get it. And I came up with every excuse as to why I didn't need it at the time. If you have the opportunity to get it, get a voucher, whatever the case, get somebody to pay for it, go ahead and get it out of the way. You know what I'm saying? And then even if you're not like full CISSP, if you're the associates or the associate, I think the associate CISSP, something like that, so go ahead and get it. Just get the exam out of the way. You know, 100%. I would tell you right now, out of some of the top two in my head are OSCP and CISSP. Obviously, one being one managerial, one being technical. The third one I would say is PMP. Now, I would get CISSP before PMP, but if you have all three, like that is like full house type shit, like for reals. But again, yeah, I think I beat a dead horse there, so I'm gonna move on. B-Tech Cybersecurity 4-year program. I have not heard of that, so let's Google it. I'm gonna see if I like see any keywords. I'm gonna bring you along with me on the journey. B-Tech. I don't know if that one's the best thing to go to. I don't really see. I've never heard of that. Is B-Tech a course or it's an indie? Okay, I get it. I got it. I think, right? That's what I see. Yeah. So I want to see the curriculum. Ooh, okay. Damn. Ooh. Yes, maybe. Yes, no, maybe, yes, no. So that's how I would do if I were like evaluating a degree. What are the mandatory credits? I don't know if these are all mandatory or not. Okay, they are actually, because these are the electives here. So all these are mandatory credits. So what I would do is this is a bachelor's? Okay, it is a bachelor's. Oh, B-Tech. Got it. That's what that means. I've never heard that terminology before. So B-Tech is not a, okay, I got it. I got a little bit lost there. B-Tech is short. Yeah, project management professional. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. So bachelor's in technology and cybersecurity. So let's talk about that for a minute. Two things there. Number one, yes, but make sure you're taking the classes that you want to take. Go ahead and make sure that you align it to the thing without modifying the integrity of the degree, right? And what I mean by that is, take all your requirements and then make sure your electives align with what you want. Make it as interesting as possible to you. But yes, a bachelor's in cybersecurity is worth it. But again, it's a competitive field, so you're going to just meet the threshold. Then now you have to do things like projects and networking and stuff to like exceed that, right? That's the first time I've heard somebody. Okay, so I want to talk about this as well. In certain other places, cybersecurity is considered information. So we consider it information technology, and then sometimes cybersecurity is its own thing. In other places, cybersecurity. Excuse me, I have a lot of gas in the morning. Cybersecurity is a. I don't even think that matters to the live stream actually, but just understand that cybersecurity may be its own field, and it may be a subset of a field. It may be snuggled within information technology, or it may just be its own thing. And then it also may be snuggled within a business degree nowadays. There's a second thing that I wanted to say, but I'm just gonna keep going because I'm a little bit off track here. I wanted to get into the PMP thing. Where the hell is the live stream? Damn. I lost the live stream. Is it here? No. Okay, here it is. PMP project. So there are a few certifications, right? That are, I like to call it like you get them when they're about to put you out the pasture, right? When they're about to like, go ahead and like, we're about tired of this guy. We're about to if you feel like it's about time and you've been working at a certain place enough time, and it's time that they're probably about to ask you to resign or whatever the case. This is when you want to get PMP. The reason is PMP forces you to get all of your projects, everything you worked on, and they're going to ask you to consider all types of crazy stuff. And it's going to all be in one place. And then they're going to ask you to go through the exam and all of that. But the benefit for PMP is going to, like, when you put out your resume and stuff like that, like, that's a pretty decent snapshot of your life. But PMP is like granular level snapshot of your career. Granular level. So you take that granular level of experience, you pass the exam, and then now an employer can actually look deep inside of what you've been doing that whole time. So yes, PMP, but PMP, I would wait until like it feels like either I wanted to make another move, or it felt like people were getting tired of me, and like I was like my talents were being less and less appreciated. I would go ahead and get PMP first and then make my move. Be like, hey, yep, I'm putting in my papers, yo, I'm resigning. Or, whatever they call it, like, right? Or I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. And by the way, I just got PMP, right? So, in my opinion, right, think with yourself on some of this stuff and everything like that. I would tell you, for me, I don't have a 4-year degree in cybersecurity. And I just wanted to say that because what do I want to say here? I want to say that because you have people that came in different eras. So the first era for me with this whole cybersecurity wave is like they just wanted people, right? They wanted people regardless of what you had, because the cybersecurity degree program wasn't a lot of that going on. So if you ask somebody else that, they might be like, you don't need a degree, right? But it's because they came in the previous era. In the current era, the degree is the minimum, bro. So with exceptions, but typically the degree is the minimum. If you don't have the degree, you need to be able to sufficiently cover every single thing that degree would cover. If you watch my video, I'm going to pull it up because I like to promote myself. It feels like a Monday for some reason. If you watch my video, where the hell is it? This one. I'm not. I got 95 likes on that joint. I actually got a comment from Network Chuck, bro. That was dope, bro. It was real dope getting the comment from him. So that was good stuff. I really look up to that guy. But off topic, if you follow this video, and you know, I would say if you know 90 to 100% of these topics, that's your bachelor's degree. So if you don't have a specific paper, but you can talk about discrete mathematics, which is your algebra and stuff like that was there, and then you can talk about operating systems, the basics. You know, talk about some programming. I talk about that in here. Protocols, you can talk about that. Analyzing network protocols. Do some try-hack me, some like all of this stuff. Like it's a lot, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. But if you can talk about all of that, you can bypass the requirement for a bachelor's degree. That's daunting. And that's not like average person's shit. Like the average person ain't gonna be able to do that. But it is possible. And that's why I put the roadmap down. And I encourage people to like, you don't gotta be average or ordinary, bro. Just because not many people do it doesn't mean that it's not for you. It's just that I've just laid down the conditions for you, right? That's why let me go back to that video. When I did the video, my thumbnail was like, it's easy, bro, trust me. But then I had this like shit-eating grin on because it's not easy, right? And then when you get in and it's like, bro, this is a lot of stuff. And so a degree, anytime you hear about somebody having a degree, that's because it's super duper hard to get on your own. It's super duper hard to get that knowledge, that amount of knowledge on your own. But I promise you, the books are out here. I promise you, the videos are out here. I promise you, the resources, the courses that you can take on Udemy and all of that, it's out here. You don't have to sign up for a 4-year program. The 4-year program makes it easier. The 4-year program says we have all of this stuff in one place so you don't have to go out and hunt it. And so at the end of the day, when it comes to a degree, it's all about your needs. Do I have the time to hunt down all of these resources? If I don't, I need to take a degree program because they're all there. But we got Google, bro. We got Google, man. We got Google, Udemy. We got what's that other thing? Cybrary. We got TryHackMe. We got HackTheBox. We got all these sites, man. And if you just like one thing that I like to do, I like to go to these degree programs and get the curriculum. And I'd be like, all right, bet. Discrete mathematics. All right, I'm going to look up everything that I can on discrete mathematics. Now, it doesn't put that pressure on you to retain the knowledge. And that's another thing that self-learning can't do. So you have to find a way artificially, right? You have to give yourself your own challenges, your own exams and stuff like that. However you're going to do that. And that's the way that I will learn it, by myself without a degree. If you can afford a degree, if you can afford the time and money, then go ahead and go for the degree, bro. Long story short, I just said that. So for the typical average person, a degree is required. A cybersecurity degree is required. For the exceptional person, you can learn this stuff on your own. And as long as you cover if you can cover every single point that degree would make in a conversation, then you're ready. And I wanted to show one more thing, bro. And I think this is fitting to end it on. I want to show this. I got some stuff to do today. So I got this crazy look on my face. So there's 5 levels in my head that work for me, man. And this is, you can apply this to OSCP. You can apply this to just cybersecurity in general. You can apply this to coding, programming, software engineering, anything. The first level that you're on is I don't know what I don't know. So when you're looking at cybersecurity and you're looking at like, what am I trying to say here? If you're looking at cybersecurity and the things that you need, whether you need a degree or not, you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of people, back to like when I was talking to my guy Scary here, that first question that we kind of went over and how you frame things, you don't want to obviously, if you want advice from someone and you want them to be enthusiastic about them giving it back to you, you don't want to appear to not know what you don't know. You never want to appear that way, even though it may be the case. It's all about selling yourself too. You got to sell yourself as if you belong in this field, because honestly, you really do. But I just wanted to make that caveat. That doesn't really have to do with what I'm saying here. But pretty much a lot of people are on this I don't know what I don't know thing. So they go out and ask the questions. Just make sure you frame the question so that people feel like you have the confidence to belong. So again, instead of asking, what degree should I pick? Ask it in a way that says, like, what is most common for people to pick? And then now it seems as if you are watching out for multiple people versus yourself. So again, I'm making that point again, but I also made that point in a short, and I see people asking if set questions like this all the time. And then it's like, he'll copy and paste the response. And it's like you're not going to get like the most engagement from people like that. But all of that aside, let's get back to the point. When you're looking at a degree, when you're looking at what do I need to know to be valuable, to be hired, you're going to go through these phases. Make sure you're handling number one, which is I don't know what I don't know. And let me move my face out of the way so that you see that whole thing. Make sure you're handling number one to the best of your ability. Make sure you go ahead and like Google and do all of that stuff ahead of time before you start asking questions, right? That's another thing. But again, that's kind of like out of the scope of what I want to talk about here. Number two, though, once you know that you need to know something, which I hate the way this is worded. You know that you need to know something. Maybe skip this one. Maybe 1 and 2 kind of are the same thing. You know that you need to know something, right? You know what you don't know, right? So that is, you went through that. And this is so you can, again, you could put OSCP in this. You can put a degree program in this. You can always look at the curriculum. You can always do that. OSCP or Pin 300, they have the curriculum of everything you need to follow. They're going to go over this. They're going to do this. They're not going to show you the actual, we can go to that thing as a matter of fact, because I think a lot of people don't take care of themselves in this way. Is this it? Course info. Download course syllabus. Boom. There's no excuse, bro. They're telling you everything they're gonna go over. So you can train without actually having to train, because all you gotta do is Google this stuff. Watch this. Boom. Downloading files. wget. Boom. How do you use wget to download files? You can pretty much make your own course with Google. And this is obvious information, but it's like people forget this. Fast scripting. Let's see. Let's do a harder one. Port scanning. TCP UDP scanning. Port scanning. TCP UDP scanning. And I know I'm being a little bit like mean here to some people, but I'm saying all this to prove a point where the course material isn't anything special. Like these guys probably like, you feel what I'm saying? Let's talk about Linux buffer overflows. You have Pin 300 right here in Google, right? And now you know, let's go back to this point. You know what you don't know, and that's simply by going through our syllabus and saying like, I know that I don't know Windows buffer overflows. I know that I don't know fixing exploits. I know that I don't know Linux privilege. Like I know that I don't know this. That's when you're at level 3. Same thing for a degree. Cyber security degree. What do they call it? What do they call it here? Curriculum. I don't know how to spell that. There you go. Look at anything. Look at this one. I know that I don't know this, etc. Whatever. You get the point. I'm beating the dead horse there. That's when you're at level 3. Now you can ask questions to like with a lot more confidence. Because at this point in my head, you're here. It's hard to get from 3 to 4. That's where it takes the most amount of work. Getting from 3, I know what I don't know, and I know I grow and it starts to show. When you get to I know I grow and it starts to show, you start doing things like presentations. You start doing things like putting out projects. Now these projects, these scripts, these codes, like all of these things may be shitty at first. But now you know when you put out that first presentation, when you put out that first video, when you put out that first GitHub, you know that you're at number 4. You can get hired at number 4. Somewhere between 4 and 5, you can get hired here. You just need to start putting out products that come from your experience, that come from your grind, that come from your hustle. Let me make sure that I'm not missing anything. And then to go from 4 to 5, to go from 4 to 5, you just have to, you at that point, you're the type of guy that could just like wake up and just get on a live stream. You're the type of guy that could just, you could do a presentation just fine. Like if you started asking me about cybersecurity stuff, red team, blue team stuff, I could just talk about it because I'm at level 5 now. Proving grounds with try hack me would be fine. Which OS would be you prefer? Yeah. Proving grounds with try hack me. Now, of course, you do need to eventually buy the course because you want a framework, you want left and right boundaries, but you need to know, you need to get from I don't know what I need to know to I know what I don't know. You need to do that quickly by reading curriculums and syllabuses. So that's the point that I was making there. Which OS do I prefer? I don't know. I'm going to just say, I'm just going to say Windows for now. Windows is a pain. I would tell you right now, Windows is a pain. I prefer Windows on my daily driver simply because the people at work prefer Windows. If I had it my way, I would just be 100% Linux Mint. I'm really in love with some of the new things that they're doing with Linux and Ubuntu and Debian. Like I'm in love with that. It's just when I need to reach back and do things for work, it's like none of that stuff works. And then I'm big on music. Sometimes my sometimes my audio doesn't work when I'm switching over to Linux, but I love the feel for those operating systems. As far as like my pen testing operating system, I don't really have a preference. I've just been running with. I really liked damn, I'm showing stuff I'm not supposed to show. Damn. My bad, HackTheBox, bro. But originally, like obviously I was one of those guys that was like, all right, let me just get on Kali Linux. But then I was like, all right, let me mess with Parrot and things like that. And I liked Parrot for a while. But then Parrot started giving me issues. Parrot started giving me huge issues. And I ran back to Kali Linux. I don't particularly like Kali Linux in that like it's nothing special, but Parrot was really starting to fail on me. The ultimate goal is for me to take Ubuntu and put pen tester tools on there so that I can control my packages, so that I can control all of the things that might break in Kali. And that's the ultimate goal. And I'll show you probably partially what I did here is where is it? Is it mounted? I think it is. Yeah, home Kali worked. So is this what I wanted to do? Let me see. Basically what I'm trying to show you is I came up with my own. Is this it? Maximum size 558. Yeah. So I came up with my own hard disk in VMware so that when I'm done with Kali, I could just bring all of my tools and all of my HackTheBox write-ups and all of my HackTheBox artifacts over to another VM without having to like go through crazy stuff to transfer all of that stuff. And I do see myself moving away from Kali eventually. I know a guy, man, don't want to put his name out because he probably don't want his name out, but he was training us for the OSCP. I guess he was training us a little bit. Like he did a few things, but he was a straight up beast when it came to. So he had his own. He had regular Ubuntu, and he had all of the tools on there. So he had taken the time to make sure that all of the tools work, all of the Python packages work, and all of that. And it gave him an advantage because number one, he wasn't dealing with like slowness or like things like being super weird or like, you know, because he built it, you know, and he knew what he was doing. And that's the goal that I ultimately plan to get to with operating system. I just don't have the time right now to better myself and fool with a new operating system. Theoretical for a lot of topics and lack the skills. So that's a good like you must have a lot of experience with cybersecurity, I'm thinking, because when I look at stuff, I feel the same way. When I was looking at those degrees and stuff like that, I was feeling the same way. It's a necessary evil though, because even though yes, they are more theoretical and less technical, you need a good balance of both. And that's why I'm able to do live streams. And I've been going how long now? I don't know how long it's been. Probably 2 hours or something. Yeah, going on almost 2 hours. And I've been just talking, right? Like I haven't looked at any notes or anything like that. I've just been talking based on what I know. That's because the theory is there. The theoretical piece is there and the technical piece is there. And it's kind of like it marries together. So as much as you're going to hate it, bro, you're going to have to write those papers. That's what it is, man. You're going to have to write those essays. It's one thing to know how to hack into a box. It's one thing to know about the TCP IP stack and the 7 layers of whatever. I forgot what they call them right now. Fucking network layers. It's one thing to know about that stuff and operating system concepts. And it's another thing to be able to write about it and speak about it. Because I would tell you, especially I'm in a privileged spot in my job or right now, and I don't say that to brag. I say that to lead into this point. In my spot, I'm like the middleman between the analysts that are on the keyboard and actually hunting, and the managers and the bosses. I have to speak for both sides. So not only do I have to train my guys to actually hunt shit and find shit, I have to explain to my bosses why what they're doing, why the cutting edge things that they're doing is relevant, right? So it's like kind of like I need the theoretical side. At least I need to be able to speak in a theoretical sense to my bosses, and I need to be able to hop on HackTheBox and do scripts and do all of this sick shit for my analysts, right? Because my managers are older guys. They're older. Some of them are like 50, 40, 50, 60. It is what it is. And I have to be able to explain things. A lot of them are smart, so they don't need them things to be kindergarten level, but they need to be, I need to consider business need. And I need to consider the fact that they aren't on HackTheBox all the time. It's an exciting spot to be. I'm glad you made it in, bro. I'm glad you made it in. I'm glad to see your name pop up. So you need to, so that's why a big part of college is like a lot of typing. There's a lot of theoretical stuff, a lot of like things that you might not want to talk about or want to do. Oh, 3. Yep. So that's kind of my rant on that. It's unfortunate because it's not fun. It is not fun. And when I was getting my degree, which by the way, like my most technical degree was software engineering. I didn't want to get in here a lot of nights, bro. And it was a master's degree. So it was like a lot of writing, a lot of theoretical stuff. Like it was a lot of, theoretical isn't the word that I would say. I would say it was a lot of, it was not technical, less technical. It was just like, there's two kind of people. There's two kinds of people in this field, right? There's people that talk the talk and walk the walk. And you're going to be talking the talk a lot of times in your degree field. And managers talk the talk a lot as well, but they don't walk the walk. Not because they can't or they won't, it's because they're not required to. So they're gonna focus on what they're required to do, right? For me, again, I would say that I'm required to do both. And you see the passion and the confidence in me, and that is because I can do both. Yep. So it's easy for me to stand up at work because we got a lot of people at work. So it's people, even though they work for the company, like I've never seen them before. I've only seen them one time. I can stand up in front of them and speak. And then like on top of that, I don't want to get like, sensitive or racial or anything like that. But like, it's not like super inherent in like a black man to like stand up amongst other races and just like present confidently. That's just not something that, is like, even for me, like growing up it's been 2 hours now. Yeah. It's not something that's like inherent in me and how I was raised to be able to do that. And I owe the fact that I was able to bridge so many hurdles based on how I grew up and the things that I saw myself doing previously as a child and as growing up. I owe a lot of that to the fact that I have so much formal education. Beforehand, I'm just a dude, like just regular dude, right? Doing regular stuff in the hood or whatever. And then I take my degree. So it's like all of my thoughts about like technology and business and the future of mankind, I have to write in this paper. And then this person with this PhD has to check it. And this person says, hey, man, you got 100. And then you do that over and over again. And then now you have speaking confidence. So even though you're going to say, a lot of you going to say like, I don't want to really do all of this non-technical stuff. If you want to maximize your potential, you definitely want to do that. Anybody got any OSCP questions though? I love these questions though. Don't get me wrong, yo. Like this is one of my favorite live streams, man. I was supposed to do some HackTheBox machines. Like I got, as y'all see, I got like user on that box, and then I don't know. I didn't mean to stream that though, so don't hold that against me. I was really going for something else, but I'm not gonna take it down either, just because this was a good video, and if I try to edit the live stream, it's just gonna screw everything up. I know everybody got stuff to do. It's 8:35 here. I can go for another hour talking, bro. But at the same time, I don't want to diminish the quality of what we're doing here either. So that's kind of the duality I'm dealing with now. Let me just go ahead and before I end it, let me give you my final thoughts on the OSCP, because I want this to be valuable. Whatever. I could stay over here actually. I don't know why my thing is like, I got like a cut off there, but let me see if I could find. I don't know if that's against the rules. It's probably against the rules. I ain't gonna show that actually. But I'll tell you, when I did the OSCP, I didn't have that. There was no poultry. I don't know what the hell that is. This was a little bit different. Trying harder, the labs. I don't know if I remember that. What else? We did that. We did all of that. I don't see local file inclusion in here. Yeah, I don't see that at all. Let me just local file. Oh, wow. They don't have it. LFI. Bro, how are they training people these days? So we learned local file inclusion. We learned. Oh, wow. Okay. They have cross-site scripting still. Oh, this is it. Okay, so they still have it in there. They just call it directory traversal. Whatever. File inclusion. There it is. File inclusion vulnerability. So they still have that. So the web-based stuff didn't change. I know a lot of this stuff is outdated and people know how to secure themselves, but you still need to know that stuff. Buffer overflows is not as important. anymore, especially in today's society, but they still teach it, and that's good, right? None of this stuff is special, bro. None of it's special, bro. None of this is stuff that you can't get offline. And I'm only saying that to say that once you learn about Metasploit payloads or post exploitation or whatever, get an outside perspective on what's going on. Don't just only take offensive security's perspective, because what that's going to do if you just try to lock yourself into their perspective is you're going to be at their mercy. So if they throw you for a loop in the exam, you've never seen that before. Well, you didn't research anything else either. So you were expecting this one situation, and the basis of everything that I do, man, whether that is threat hunting or the little pen testing that I do at home, everything is based on use case. I think that's fitting to end this on. Use case, use case, use case. If you don't have a use case, if you don't have a use case, you need to make one. And what I mean by that is, damn, what the hell? I got too many windows open. Yeah. If you don't have a use case, make one. What do I mean by that? If it's pen testing, if it's OSCP, and you do a box on HackTheBox, and you don't understand like where this could be in real life, like why is this vulnerable? Like how does this apply to real life? And you can't see any examples. You need to come up with one yourself. It's going to help so much in your learning. I don't get why my camera is like this. It's going to help so much in your learning. Same thing for threat hunting. If you see something weird, let me focus right. If you see something weird in threat hunting and you don't understand why it's there, like come up with a use case. So either go find a use case as to why that would be there in an attacker scenario. And if you can't find that, you need to create it. You need to come up with a lab and say, okay, this is why this would apply. I'll give you an example, like a freebie. Let's say, I got you, bro. Let's say you are hunting, let's say you're threat hunting, right? And you see this weird subdomain, and it's like, maybe you guys use CloudFront, right? For your cloud stuff, and you see Cloudflare, and you're like, I don't know what Cloudflare is, and I don't know what attacker scenario this would be in, and you don't find anything. Well, you come up with your own scenario, and you realize that as an attacker, you can use cloud infrastructure to be the redirectors in your chain of redirection to obfuscate you so that you don't expose your attacker server to the victim, right? So you walk through that and you create that scenario. And you're like, this would benefit the attacker. And so now you have a use case to use in the future. Now you need more than one use case, obviously, but use case thinking, it'll help. What are the platforms that you recommend to train for the OSCP? So this is another one of those questions where it's like, it's another one of those questions. I'm going to give you mine. I would say think for yourself. My recommendation would be TJ Knowles' list of HackTheBox machines. I didn't do that when I failed. I did it once and I passed. Okay, yeah, man. I'm about to get out too. I'm just gonna address this and I'm gonna be out. But I appreciate you stopping by. I recognize your username from like commenting on my stuff, and I appreciate it, bro. But yes, recommending to train. I train with TJ Knowles' list on HackTheBox, and I was fine. That may not be appropriate with the new Active Directory stuff, 100%. But yes, that's what I use. With that said, understand. Yeah. I would anything a more generic answer than that though. Anything that addresses any of these I would be trying to run to that site. If an account was, I mean, if a platform was just 100% dedicated to Windows Privacy examples, I would sign up for that shit. I basically would take that approach. Linux buffer overflows. If there's a site that just specializes in buffer overflows, buffer overflow CTF. Where are we at? CTF 101. I'm there. You get how that works? That is what I would do. And that's probably the less attractive answer, because people kind of want like a one-to-one answer for everything, and which is fine. Like, that's how our brain works. That's how our brains works. That's how our brain works as humans, right? We want that one-to-one answer, but that may not be enough. It may not be enough for me to tell you to just go to HackTheBox, because you may thirst for more knowledge. And so the simple answer is I use TJ Knowles' list and use HackTheBox, and I was fine. Your brain may crave for more knowledge, and if that's the case, I would definitely say, all right, bash scripting, for example. What was it, Cold Wars? Think Cold Wars? Yes. I use Cold Wars for that. And just get as dope as possible and all of the stuff that it's saying there. And then I would just use that approach. Active information gathering, port scanning, S&B enumeration. I think, if I was really slow on that, guess what? I would do S&B enumeration, see if TryHackMe had anything, and then TryHackMe would be. I would sign up for as many accounts as I could, and I would listen to as many YouTube videos as I could so that I can get other people's recommendations, and I would still stack more shit on top of that. So there's two answers to that question. It just depends on how much you thirst for the knowledge. I'm huge on the knowledge. I want it all. So I would sign up for as much as possible. That's just me. Ooh, man. All right, we are out of here. Ooh, ooh. Oh man, damn. So yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by. We try to come see you. I think XTC is a quicker version of IPSec videos. I tried HackTheBox, but I don't understand. So yeah, you guys keep coming with questions. I'm gonna stay on, bro. No doubt. So I told you I could do this all day. But yeah, man, I appreciate you stopping by, Scary. I expect to see you a lot more, bro, because I think you got a future in this thing, like a big future in this thing. So yeah, just if you ever see me on live stream, like, just holler at me, bro. XCC is a quicker version of IPSec videos. He uses different paths sometimes. So let's talk about that for a minute, bro. I am more partial to XCT than IPSec. Like, I would prefer his videos. I'm not at this point though. I'll watch either or, but I would just say that I like his videos a lot more because, I don't know, maybe I just needed something different. I don't think, like, for me, for example, if I'm your favorite YouTuber now, probably in a year I won't be. That's just inevitable. It's just, it is what it is, bro. It's because people need new things. And then on top of that, I'll probably switch up my whole style. And that's another inevitable thing. Like, don't take that personally if I have to switch up my whole style. IPSec didn't switch up. It was more like IPSec in my head. IPSec didn't. I don't want to say he didn't grow. IPSec, when you're consistent, bro. When you're consistent, that's admirable. But then it's like, people like to see that they're going on a journey with you. And if you compare IPSec in 2018 to IPSec in 2022, it's like, bro, where's the delta there, bro? And so that could really, in my head, that could really just like, people that watch you for a while, like, eventually they're going to want some kind of new element. As you see a big black screen here. And this tells me that it's my time to get off. Let me talk about the HackTheBox thing for a minute. but I don't understand a single thing. And then I find try hack me 1,000 times, 100,000 times easier for me. I'm gonna talk about that. Try hack me versus hack the box. Hack the box retired, as in the what am I trying to say here? The boxes that people recommend, the boxes that TJ Noel recommends. So TJ Noel, if I'm not mistaken, he works for offensive security. Probably wrong on that, but I think I'm right. So with that said, like that's like where are you gonna get better advice from, right? So you get that from him and you say, okay, like based on his advice, I'm going to, and if I'm wrong, just correct me. But based on his advice, I'm gonna do these boxes, and I'm gonna avoid these active boxes. The active boxes are too much. What is it? Lipton? Hack the box. You kind of need to be a specific type of person to get anything from Hack the Box. You got to be that type of person where it's like, you got to be willing to reach out. For real. You got to be willing to reach out to the community and say, man, what did you do here? If you try to work in a silo, it's going to kill you. And that's like the current new active Hack the Box account. I mean, the current new Hack the Box machines. So I would not feel bad. I would also tell you though, if you're preparing for the OSCP, you're gonna have to kind of get over a few things. That's like one of them. Like I would say you should be able to get at least one active box within 6 months. Like you should be at least on that level. And that's easy. Like you should be able to get an easy box. Probably not. You're not going to be able to get an easy box a week or anything like that. But like you should be able to buckle down and get one easy box, like 2 easy boxes a year. I would say that's probably the standard, I would say. And you should probably be like decent for the OSCP. Like if you can't get it at all, if you don't have the wherewithal to get it at all, like you can't like whatsoever, not understanding, like, yeah, just keep working. But I would tell you, I'm saying all that to say, like, even a guy like me, an easy box on Hack the Box is very, very challenging. Very challenging. Yep. So try hack me. Try hack me, bro. You don't want try hack me to spoon feed you so much that you just completely melt down when you have to do it on your own. So try hack me has this whole question answer thing that it goes through, and Hack the Box has a part like that too. Because when Try Hack Me came out, let me make sure I close some stuff over here. I got some work over here going up. When Try Hack Me came out, yeah, we fine. Hack the Box was like, oh man, this is amazing. We gotta copy them. So if you go to, you probably already did this, but I just want to just prove a point here. All of these boxes, they just took Hack the Box. They took Try Hack Me's style and just ran with it. Like didn't say thank you or nothing. They said, bro, we are doing the exact same thing. So you spawn the machine and you answer these questions. And then of course, they also have these on YouTube. As you see, I haven't done any of these. I'm just not interested. But I think you get the picture, right? It's like, if you feel like Hack the Box is intimidating, you could definitely walk through their, getting started. It's just not satisfying to me because like, I'm looking for a challenge, but, yep. So there's that. Proving Grounds. I was on Proving Grounds for a minute. I did Proving Grounds before the OSCP. I would say Proving Grounds wasn't like groundbreaking. I just paid for it because it was there. It was another thing. I'm not speaking like bad about Proving Grounds. Proving Grounds is definitely solid. It's just that by the time I got on the Proving Grounds, I already had my thing that was working for me. I would agree with what you're saying, Trent. Here is what am I saying here? What I want to say. The Proving Grounds machines are probably a lot more authentic than HackTheBox if you're trying to train for the OSCP. I can only recommend HackTheBox though, because that's how I got mine. I didn't get mine through Proving Grounds, but I would definitely agree that if the vendor, the same company that's making OSCP if they're making a machine to practice on, guess what you probably should practice on. Right? Like that makes sense. 100%. So again, even though I got advice, people like you, I expect you, like, Trent is a guy that's thinking for himself. He is on the Proving Grounds. That's what bandwagon he's on, and he's probably a lot more correct than me. I would tell you, like, in this realm, like, we have to have people that think for themselves. Like, if you get all your advice 100% from me and try to do it like I did, you're probably gonna fail because your mind doesn't work like mine. So I just caution people from asking very specific questions, like, what do I need to do to pass OSCP? What sites do I specifically need to work on? Like, I can give you a lot of sites, but you got to get it on your own. The most solid advice that I can give you is work from that curriculum. Any site that addresses anything in that curriculum or syllabus or whatever they call it, go with that site. Just sign up. Click around, solve some boxes. For reals. Yeah, this is a hell of a live stream, but I gotta get off. I definitely don't want to diminish the value anymore by like making somebody like wait. I'm gonna probably try to do some thumbnails. Not thumbnails, what do they call them? Timestamps, so that if you join late, you can kind of get some of those initial nuggets that I dropped. I appreciate everybody stopping by. I got like 41 views, so that's dope, bro. And you're really helping by stopping by and asking questions. But I don't want to intimidate anybody from asking like questions. But again, I do expect everyone to like definitely Google on your own, because instead of being like, I like for this to be a two-way discussion. You don't just gotta like take my advice and just like, oh, that's what I need to do. Like, let's have a discussion, bro. And I can help you think of things you haven't thought about, but definitely do your own research. And again, that's not being mean. That's what you need to succeed, bro. That's not being mean. That's not like I don't want to answer that. It's just like you need to like, go ahead and like get it on your own, and then come in here and like, based on the way you word your question, people will know whether you're getting it on your own or not, right? So, and then we can have a discussion, and then you can bounce ideas off of me. I can learn from you. You can learn from me. And I'm telling you, things go a lot quicker for you like that. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all, bro. I love all y'all, bro. Y'all be safe. Tomorrow we'll do something a lot more technical. I try to stay away from these, like, try not to do too many of these videos, because like this should be a learning channel. So you guys be easy, be safe. I'm out. 100. Yes, I want to stop that.